take a look at the starting grid. No qualifying today because of rain earlier. The field set by the metrics. And the top 7 drivers all have won this year. You take a look at 2 Georgian natives. Brandon Jones, he'll start 4th. And Austin Hill has been racing here since he was 9 years old. He starts in the 5th position.
Row 7, Jeff Burton, a Talladega winner. Can he take that experience and apply it here? Row 8, Daniel Hemrick, last year's Xfinity champion, needing a good run.
In the 18th position, Landon Castle. He finished 5th here in March. It's my sleeper pick. Ryan Truex, competitors never raced on this configuration before. Back there in 21st position.
How about Tyler Reddick will be on the outside of him, and Tyler Reddick just got his first Cup Series win a week ago at Road America.
J.J. Yaley, he finished 11th here in this race earlier this year in March. So all these guys, you know, they got a shot at a great run today if they can keep it clean.
You see Natalie Decker from Wisconsin, a 25-year-old back there starting in 37th position. Steve Letarte was down on the Peacock pit box earlier for the pre-race show. He's moved up, and let's check in with him as far as what we're going to expect today.
That's right, Rick. Off the patio from the back of the pit box, now on top of the pit box. A familiar place for me, pit box on Atlanta Motor Speedway. We always talk, what can a crew chief do? In a lot of races, it's decision-making. When you come, what adjustments you make, do you put fuel in, how many tires you take. When I look at this Atlanta and this new Atlanta that races a lot like Daytona and Talladega, I don't think it's as much decision-making as much as coaching. I think these crew chiefs are going to switch from general managers to psychologists today. How hard do we want to push? When our tempers get flared up, can I calm them back down? There's no chance you're going to have a smooth day without being upset by someone's move out there on the racetrack. So the pit crew and the crew chief, perhaps a little less decision makers and a little more encouragement, coaching, and calming. A nice calming influence from pit road, Rick.
Steve said a lot of take and not as much give. Well, let's get a few more updates from pit road. We'll start with Kim.
Well, let's talk about Daniel Hemrick. The goal for that driver today, maximize the day. Don't try to get more than the car or the track is giving them, because he told me that's when they've ended up on the wrong side of things this season, and some of the reason they've been plagued by bad luck all of 2022. He told me in 3 to 4 laps they'll be able to figure out what the car needs and then start their march forward from there, Dave.
Kim, Sam Mayer is looking good for the playoffs with the most points of any non-winner, and is coming to a track with great mojo. His first top 10 in the Xfinity Series came in this race last year. Since then, 14 more top 10 finishes for the 19-year-old. He was fast here in March, but cut down a tire late. Marty, if he can keep it together, could be a factor for the win.
Dave, A.J. Allmendinger led the most laps here in the spring, but wound up finishing 3rd in that race. I asked him to describe the racing here at the new Atlanta. He said it's like Daytona and Talladega. Sort of. He said at Daytona and Talladega, you want as many partners together as you can, but we found out in the spring at Colleague Racing that doesn't work with all 3 of our teammates trying to work together. So they've gone to a revised plan, Rick, here at Colleague Racing. He's only going to focus on working with his teammate, Daniel Hemrick, and that's it. So a little smaller plan for Colleague Racing. We'll see if it pays off with the win today.
Yeah, we'll see if they focus a little more on that strategy. And speaking of strategy, let's break down this race. We'll go back to Steve for that on the Peacock pit box.
Yeah, Rick, it's 163 laps, a little over 250 miles. Stage 1 and 2, pretty straightforward, 40 laps each. That final stage is where things really get creative. We expect these teams to go 70, 75 laps on fuel, but some of the crew chiefs I've talked to said they are willing to try to stretch it for that entire final stage. They would rather not pit. Keep that track position. And as we saw in the spring, Rick, I think they're gambling on some yellows. We are sure to see some.
Yeah, that's true, Steve. Well, we were supposed to talk with Austin Hill. As a matter of fact, we were testing the audio, and he was pushing the button, but they couldn't hear him. So, Kim, what's going on with his radio or helmet?
Yeah, definite radio helmet problems for Austin Hill. You saw him have to wait on pit road. They switched out his helmet. To your point, he was keying in, but they could not hear anything he was saying, and this is a track where it's very important to talk to your driver and for the driver to hear the spotter. So you see there, they switched out the helmet. Now on this second helmet, they told him he is crystal clear on pit road, but when he hits the backstretch, he still breaks up. So they are going to try to switch him to channel 2. We're going to check in with the team to see if that alleviated those issues he was having with the radio, Dave.
Kim, it must be the day for radio issues, because Brett Moffitt in the 02 car for Our Motorsports, he has them as well. When he hits the push to talk button on his steering wheel, nothing. He hears the crew. He can get commands from his spotter or his pit box, but he cannot talk back to them right now. Drivers, what in the world is that like starting a race?
All right, guys, so we come to Atlanta. The rules are a little bit, I guess we call it Frankenstein. It's kind of pieced together from what we have seen normally at other racetracks.
Well, I think the first thing everybody needs to understand is that, this mile-and-a-half super speedway, it is the same car as far as aerodynamically that they race every week, except it has the lower horsepower like you would see at Daytona. So much less horsepower, so they're going to try to run wide open around this racetrack.
Yeah, and that double yellow line rule is in play. It's not yellow here, it's red, but it actually will be in play. You cannot pass below it. The choose rule as well is in play, which is unique to super speedways. The other thing, too, is tandem. Now, the drivers will tell you, going down the front straightaway trying to tandem is really uncomfortable and impossible. But on restarts, watch for those guys to really try to connect, push all the way through turns 1 and 2, and all the way down the back straightaway. They'll try to connect and help and push as much as they can.
Yeah, we'll be riding along with the state water heaters, and we'll see that. Remember, at Daytona, Talladega, they don't allow them to lock bumpers. You cannot lock bumpers, but you can here. They don't care. I don't think you want to here, though. The radius of these corners is so short and small, I think it could cause a wreck.
Very tight. One other variable that these drivers have to deal with is the weather. It rained earlier. That's why there was no qualifying. The humidity is extremely high right now. You see 81%, 82 degrees is the temperature. The sun now starting to peek through the clouds and beat down on this racetrack. So it's getting hot. It's humid. That's going to be another thing these drivers have to deal with.
Yeah, and I think that yellow line rule is pretty simple to obey all the way around the track, except for on the front straightaway, Jeff. This front straightaway has a giant apron, and if you're right behind another car, you can't really see that line. So if you're trying to move down there and take advantage of an opportunity or a run you've got to be careful.
And we saw so many guys having radio troubles. Remember, no practice, no qualifying because of weather. First time in the cars, hot, slick, way hotter than it was here in the spring. How are these cars going to handle? That is a huge question.
I'll throw one other thing at you. 7 of these drivers haven't raced on this configuration. So 7 of the field have not tried out this new Atlanta. They didn't have qualifying, no practice. But we're about to see the green flag, and we're underway from Atlanta.
Already see the pushing. These guys know they need to do on these restarts to try to help clear.
Right away, you almost saw Ty Gibbs get sideways from the help he was getting.
And Ty Gibbs was his pole sitter. He chose the outside to put his teammate behind him so he could get that push.
And I think the only issue is where the 19 was pushing. He's on the left rear quarter panel, and that really makes the car in front upset. You got to get on the right rear quarter or the right side of the rear bumper to get that push comfortable for the lead car.
You see already Anthony Alfredo being put 3 wide. I saw that yellow car, Brandon Jones, move around a lot in 3 and 4. I am really concerned about handling today. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
We just saw Josh Berry move up and down the racetrack, but take a look at what just happened with Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, the 19's right on that left rear quarter panel, and you cannot push on the left side of that rear bumper. If you're going to push another car, be on the right side. Moved offset to the right is way more comfortable for the lead car, almost spinning the 54 there.
Now Josh Berry has pulled out to about a 3-car length lead. Weren't expecting this. We thought that they'd be a little tighter together.
Well, that's...
And a caution's come out as we see the
we got
34 spinning. That's right. Jesse Iwuji is around in his own team. His own team car there with Emmett Smith.
That's at the entrance to pit road.
Oh, and he's got some damage to the left rear quarter panel.
Yeah, he's got a flat left rear tire either before or because of that contact.
So Jesse Iwuji will bring the 34 down to pit road as we take another look.
Jesse just way up the racetrack, gets away from him. Spins out, probably blows that left rear tire. A little bit of damage, that left rear quarter panel from making contact to the wall. Tough start for Jesse Iwuji. This is the kind of race that a team like Jesse and a driver like Jesse need to take advantage of. There'll be big packs, there'll probably be a lot of wrecks. You need to try to miss those wrecks and get a good finish.
Highs and lows of racing. A career high finish last week, and now early in this one he's out.
here early at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We saw Josh Berry take the lead there in the opening laps from Ty Gibbs. To no surprise, though, JRM and JGR are combined for 8 of the last 10 Atlanta races. Wins, that is. 8 wins in the last 10 Atlanta races. And Josh Berry alone, he's got 2 wins so far this season. Junior Motorsports, 8 as a team. Now, this race wasn't the best for Josh last in the spring. He finished 33rd here, but 2 wins since and a strong start today. He's hoping for a better finish. Still a lot of racing to go, but to the lead early on for that 8 car.
Download the official app of NASCAR. You can follow the action with free live scoring. There's in-car cameras as well as radio broadcast. Search NASCAR in your app store to download and start a free trial.
We're riding on board Austin Hill's car, hoping they get their radio issues solved. Thanks to Bennett Transportation for this awesome roof cam. It's got a 360 in there as well, Jeff.
That's a great shot. We go Ty Gibbs. 50 car, Toyota cam, so we give her some great shots all day. Already you can see he's lost a couple spots. Marty, what are you hearing down there?
Well, Jeff, we've already seen a driver spin, a driver get into the wall, and you saw a bunch of drivers shoot up the racetrack. Every driver, and remember, it's 20+ degrees warmer than it was when they were here in March. Every driver saying, number one, track was a little dirty when they started, but it is absolutely slick out there right now. So I think these drivers are going to have their hands full until that sun goes down.
I had a conversation with Justin Allgaier this week, and he told me that in the spring race, he saw a lot of cars moving around, and people were already having to lift to get the car to sit in the corner. Then I walked in the garage yesterday and talked to like 10 crew chiefs, and they're like, handling ain't gonna be a problem. And I'm like, which is it, right? And so the crew chiefs are saying, hey, we think we had plenty of grip left over, but in my opinion, one of the smartest drivers on the racetrack was telling me there was not that much margin, Dave.
And guys, coming to this speedway, we knew that it was going to act again a lot like a super speedway, like a Talladega or a Daytona. And so Sheldon Creed was told by his team, hey, when the spotter tells you to make a move to fill a spot, you make that move. Don't hesitate. That's one of the reasons that operates like one of those big super speedways today.
Yeah, when you hesitate, someone else makes the move. That's the problem, and you really go nowhere. So every time you hate to let the spotter drive the car, but he's there to really help you understand all the things happening around you, and it's great to listen to that advice and be able to act quickly on it.
As a driver at a racetrack like this now, you have to anticipate, thinking ahead constantly.
Always be on the offense. Don't be on the defense when trying to make moves.
Josh Berry on the outside, A.J. Allmendinger on the inside for the restart. A little more orderly 2x2 as they work their way through 1 and 2 and down the backstretch.
That inside line still locked together. Little push coming from the 54, Ty Gibbs on the outside line to Josh Berry. They're on hook now. Still tandem until we get down into the corner, like you said, Jeff. Just, oh, the 9 almost spins out. Well, big moment.
Yeah, 16 in front of him was wiggling as well.
Yeah,
Both of them running that low line.
That was a huge moment from inside the car. The driver really nervous about that situation.
This is only the 3rd or 4th green flag lap they've run, and they're already sliding around. It's not going to get better.
I'm just surprised the balance issues that these guys are dealing with. You'd think with less horsepower, a little more throttle, and the original or the package that they run at all of the racetracks with that downforce, it'd be really comfortable, but dirty, slick racetrack. They got their hands full out there.
And look how far separated they are. That tells me that handling's an issue. Daytona and Talladega, they're all bunched up. Already you see separation. Here we go. You see Noah pushing AJ, gets off of him. Now he's chasing the car direction. Look how loose he is. There's a lot of drivers screaming to crew chiefs right now. We've got to make changes.
Look what this racetrack offers, though. As they go into the corner, Josh Berry can move the car to the middle of the racetrack, get a little clean air on there, on his nose and on the back of that car. Get a little comfort.
How about the lanes that we see all the way around? Is that distracting to a driver? Because you don't stay in your lane when you're on a racetrack.
Yeah, I wonder if, you know, that was a request maybe by the drivers themselves to have that put on the racetrack so that they would all be able to understand what lane they're in and how to make moves around the racetrack. I think it's a protective thing to have a little bit of a safer experience on the racetrack, having those lanes painted onto the surface.
Josh Berry running in the second spot now, Kim.
That's right. You guys were talking about the handling issues that these drivers are facing. Take a listen to what Josh Berry had to say. Well, he radioed into his team and he said, I cannot follow him, meaning AJ Allmendinger, in dirty air through the corners. So he's definitely going to be looking for some changes when he comes down on the first caution.
So when he says I can't follow him, he gets behind him. He gets in that wake behind the 16, which at Daytona and Talladega you want because it creates the draft. But so far here today, when you get behind somebody, it takes the air off your car and you lose more in downforce than you gain in the loss of drag. So now your car isn't flying down the straightaway and in the corners because you're having to lift. The car's not stuck like it needs to be. The drivers are wanting it to drive better. Look at that 39 car on the bottom of Ryan Sieg.
Oh, the two cars spinning around.
Two of Sheldon Creed sideways as he goes down the backstretch trying to catch it.
He does a good job here, keeping the car off the wall, running 14th. You can see him move up to the high side in clean air, and it put a bunch of air on the right front of that car and pinned that right front and steered the car, swung the car around. He snap spun. Look at him up there in clean air by himself. Also some dirty racetrack that nobody's been able to run in to keep that track clean. We saw Jesse Iwuji get loose up in that part of the racetrack earlier. Still a little bit dirty up there.
Got pinched up there by Brandon Jones a little bit. And you know Brandon Jones isn't wanting to put him that close in the wall. I'm having a feeling Brandon couldn't keep his car where he wanted it to be. See him going up the racetrack, immediately that two car turns around. There's a lot of nervous crew chiefs right now, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of nervous cup drivers sitting in those motorhomes over there as well.
Live from Atlanta Motor Speedway, under caution for the second time today early on in this race. We saw trouble this last time for the two of Sheldon Creed. Sheldon, the rookie in the Xfinity Series, had a pretty stellar run here at Atlanta in the spring. He finished 9th. He has 6 top 10s this year, but he's struggled as of late. In the last 10 races, he's only had 2 top 10 finish, and he's yet to finish in the top 5. Now, I did mention that Sheldon is a rookie, and I have spoken with Sheldon and his crew chief, Jeff Stankiewicz. They agree this season is all about learning for that 2 team, understanding what it's like to work with a new team, a new series, a new program, and quite honestly, run longer races. Sheldon said that's one of the toughest things he's had to deal with is moving from the Truck Series to the Xfinity Series. It's a larger schedule and they're longer races. So endurance, heat, all of that comes into play, and we're seeing that today. Unfortunately, as we saw trouble early on for that too, but hopefully he's able to get that running again and gain some more experience here today at Atlanta.
Download America's loved free-to-play slots app. Visit goldfish.racing.com. And talk about odds. Odds-on favorite for this race was A.J. Allmendinger, and right now he's out front, Marty.
Yeah, Rick, everybody wanting to compare this race at Atlanta now to what Daytona and Talladega is. Well, A.J. Allmendinger made a very interesting point on this last caution. Daytona and Talladega, the car's going to handle pretty much the same everywhere. But here at Atlanta, the exact opposite. A.J. said in 1 and 2, Jeff, I'm fine. 3 and 4, though, I'm struggling, very loose through there. So that's one thing about a super speedway race at a 1.5-mile track. Different handling on different ends of the racetrack.
One reason that could be, Junior, and we've always seen this time of day in 1 and 2, the sun starts to set and you start to get some shading in 1 and 2, and that track temp comes down a little bit, and that does help with handling. So that could explain part of why it's driving worse in that end versus the other.
Yeah, turns 3 and 4 still in the sun, and the drivers are complaining about the balance on that end of the racetrack. Plus the dirty racetrack, you know, when they get out there and move around a little bit higher and clean off the top groove, it might get a little bit more comfortable.
Only 40 feet in the turns. Used to be 55. That's part of the reconfiguration of this racetrack. And again, the banking up to 28 degrees in the corners as opposed to 24, what it used to be.
Got an state water heater, Jed Burton. He's gained quite a few spots early in this race.
Allmendinger and Berry once again making up row 1. Allmendinger on the outside, Berry on the inside, helping them along. The one of Sam Mayer on the inside, pushing the 8. We'll see if that inside line will work well again, as Ty Gibbs is tucked in behind A.J. Allmendinger.
That outside line seems to be more organized, a little bit better push coming from the 54 car in the back of A.J. down the back straightaway. Let's see if they can maintain that organization. They got a lot of help behind them. Austin Hill and a bunch of other cars, everybody training around the outside groove or the inside groove.
Austin drops down to the double white line there.
Immediately when they get to turn 3, though, guys, they have to let go. It's just too dirty, too slick, not comfortable to continue to remain locked up.
Ty Gibbs once again giving Allmendinger a little bit of a shove to get into turn 1.
Doing a good job there if he can keep that kind of timing up where he's pushing good down the straightaway, then offsetting in the corner so they can remain close to AJ. Maybe they can work together and kind of put some distance between them and the rest of the field. Looks like this 54 car not having as much trouble as Josh Berry in that dirty air, remaining right behind AJ through turns 3 and 4. Now he's right here with an opportunity to push from Austin Hill to be able to get up behind the 16, shoving down into turn 1.
3 cars trying to break away. Noah Gregson back there in 4th. And then Josh Berry in the 5th position.
Now the 54 offsets a little bit. But he's trying to protect this bottom too, because Austin Hill's right there, Jeff.
Yeah, that's what Austin Hill wants to see. These cars really like clean air to the bottom. So if you can get clean air on that left side of that nose, that's what you want. Ty Gibbs says, all right, I gave it to you that time. Not going to give it to you this time. Puts it right on the bottom, Marty.
Boy, it's funny, Ty Gibbs tries to poke a headlight out every time, and A.J. Allmendinger will cover that just like that right there. You know, Junior, what's interesting is that in March it was a fight for the bottom of the racetrack here at Atlanta, but today, hot and slick, it seems like it's a fight for the top. If you're going to draft, you want to be up high. Why is that?
Well, it's really just trying to get the clean air. The lead car seems to run the bottom, Marty, and so the only other place to go for clean air is up the racetrack. We saw him in turn 3 and 4 just now, all over the racetrack. So it's pretty interesting to see. You just kind of go where they aren't.
These 5 have figured something out here as they're starting to break away now from Jeremy Clements, who's running 6th.
Listen to the throttle. It's a great opportunity to ride on board here and see just how much throttle they're using. Let's see if we can stay here down the front straightaway and off into turn 1.
That is, compared to the spring, that is way less throttle time. You can hear how much he's out of the gas trying to get it to be in the lane he wants it in. See Noah Gregson make him move on the bottom.
Yeah, he's actually been able to drive. Oh man, the 54 is struggling just a little bit right there. going up the racetrack. But it's pretty impressive to see this 9-car Gragson be able to try to make these passes. A lot of these guys really haven't been able to try to put together a run or figure out a way to get around the guy. Now that outside, like Marty said, looks like a place to be as Noah got up beside Austin Hill, but now he's unable to put the run together. Austin Hill with an opportunity on taking the lead from AJ. He's going to go right around him with some help.
AJ clearly had a problem off turn 2, had to lift. Austin Hill was there to take advantage. AJ now trying to get on the outside of Ty. Look at that car jump around. Now they all see Ty on the bottom. He had to lift as well. Now they see him, and now they want to try to keep that momentum off of this car and get around him on the outside. Noah wanting to get to that right rear quarter panel, just could not get there.
When the top 5 were all in line, they were pulling away. But once they went side by side, that's brought another handful of cars into this pack.
And as that's happened, and you see Brandon Brown, that 68 car, that blue car, he's done a nice job getting toward the front. The cars, when they're side by side in front of you, your car's going to drive worse, Junior. That's more air being taken away from your car. So if you're trying to come from the back, you want them side by side because it's an opportunity to get a draft, but it also really hurts the way your car drives in the corners.
Interesting to see, too, Austin Hill, he's definitely moving around trying to take away any opportunity these guys have. You see him moving up for a block there on AJ as AJ had a little bit of a run down the back straightaway. AJ's up high now, trying to get a little push from the 8 car off of this corner. See if he can maybe get a run down the front straightaway. And the 21 is watching that 16 all the way down the straightaway, trying to move across the racetrack into his line, trying to take away any opportunity he might have to get to the quarter panel and make a pass.
It's definitely a familiar feeling for Austin Hill to be out front here at Atlanta. The difference is the car that he's driving. He used to drive Bandoleros and Legends. Since he was 9 years old, he's been racing at this racetrack. Grew up in Winston, Georgia, down the road.
Out front, you can hear that throttle all the way on the mat in the lead. With all that clean air, he's able to run full throttle. The guys behind him got to do a little bit of lifting in the corner. You see them back off a little bit. They got to back up a little bit because of the dirty air, but then they got to try to put it together, get a run created right here off the corner, down the back straightaway.
Yeah, big push right now coming from Josh Berry to the 16. That's going to propel the 16 to the outside.
And right by Austin Hill, so back out front is AJ Allmendinger. Josh Berry trying to keep the momentum up, see if he can take second away.
Man, Josh way up the racetrack.
And now Austin Hill's car is going to drive completely different than it was. He was out front, had clean air. He's going to have to make major adjustments as a driver.
And look at AJ now. He's starting to see these guys, okay? The passes are coming from the top, so I'm going to run the top. I'm going to go to the Miller racetrack, see if that's enough to defend this lead. If it ain't, he'll keep going higher.
AJ Allmendinger back out front. He led the most laps here in March.
Looks like there might be some engine issues. I don't have an official update from the team, but I will keep you updated. I do know they brought it down once or twice prior to this stop, hoping to make some minor adjustments just to get something figured out getting back out on the race car, but you could audibly hear there was an issue with the race car during a flyby on the front stretch, so they decided to bring it back down and are actively working under the hood. Like I said, probably 3 to 4 laps down now for that 44 team. No official word, but I will keep you updated as they continue to work on the race car.
USA's newest reality series, Austin Dillon's Life in the Fast Lane. Catch new episodes Thursdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern only on USA. 8 laps to go in stage 1 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Alsco uniforms 250 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. And still up front, A.J. Allmendinger, Josh Berry, and Ty Gibbs. But as you've been able to see, it has been crazy racing.
Watch the 54 car just take off of the racetrack. Gets a little wiggle right there, a little wiggle of the wheel. Gathers it back in. We're seeing this every so often from these guys. Just have a little snap in the back end, Jeff, that makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah, he just keeps fighting, right? You can't just quit. Look at this mess in the second group. Brandon Jones is leading the second group, about 3 seconds behind, and they're side by side, and they have got their hands full. They're running over a half a second slower than that front group because the front group is single file, and these guys are side by side having to lift a lot in the corners, and that's hurting their speed.
And they're catching some lap traffic. If we stay on this bottom group here, going through turn 3 and 4, they're going to be 3 wide momentarily here. It's going to shake them up just a little bit. It's really pretty sketchy running side by side. You get 3 wide in this track as it's been narrowed up a little bit. It could be a handful through the corners.
See, 8 car, Josh Berry jumped on the outside of Allmendinger for the lead.
And Allmendinger not able to stay in front of him as Berry taking the momentum to the high side. But here comes Allmendinger fighting back on the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, they're going to be side by side down this front straightaway. Is there going to be any help coming from behind? They're trying to push. Here comes Ty Gibbs. He's going to give a little bit of push to Josh Berry getting into the corner.
What about side drafting here, Junior? Should they be utilizing that skill?
Absolutely. It's just like Daytona and Talladega. All the arrow still works the same. So you can see the AJ side drafting a little bit there, be able to pull his car back alongside and almost complete the pass back into the lead. Now the 8 car using a little side draft, even that far away. There's a little side draft there. But look at that lap traffic, Jeff. That's going to play a role. Looks like AJ wisely tries to get back in line. The 54 has to lift. There's a little contact there. Good heads-up driving by everybody.
Yeah, that was smart. AJ trying to get back single file to navigate through this lap traffic. Kind of stacked everybody up behind them, but everybody did a good job of working themselves through it. This is chaos right here. What lane do you pick? Look, Josh Berry went to the bottom.
Nowhere to go.
Now 3 wide. Oh, wow, Gibbs was completely out of the throttle, and behind him they were stacked up in his rear bumper. Fortunately, there wasn't a wreck right there.
Yeah, that was twice in the last lap that Brandon Brown has really saved these guys by using some smart driving on his behalf.
Really tight racing here for the lead. Allmendinger still working that high line, trying to get back by Josh Berry.
And we're 3 to go to the end of the stage. That's why you're seeing these guys work so hard to try to get these stage points. And this playoff point up for grabs at the end of the stage. Dave, what you got?
Watching Noah Gragson in these hot conditions today, crew chief Luke Lambert told me earlier today, I wish we had had this in March. Noah excels at these conditions. And guys, one thing I noticed, he was given a chance to take a spot up in the high groove earlier. He's trying to make the bottom groove work. They said up, 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 up. He didn't take it. He stayed down low.
Well, Noah's trying, I assume Noah's car, the way it drives, he wants to be in clean air. So even though the outside may be a little cool, oh, look at Brandon Brown, as sideways he was.
Brandon won at Talladega last year, so he's a driver that knows how to get around the super speedways. No real surprise to see him up here doing so well today.
One more time around in stage 1, and the battle once again picks up. Here comes Allmendinger to the inside. Side by side as they go down the backstretch.
Ty Gibbs giving Josh Berry a push.
Josh Berry surging ahead now with that little bit of a nudge he got from the 54. And will it be enough? Yes, Josh Berry comes out and will win stage 1 at Atlanta. Ty Gibbs, Allmendinger, Brandon Brown, and Noah Gragson, the top 5.
Josh Berry's 5th stage win of 2020. By the way, that's Junior Motorsports' 13th straight stage win on ovals.
Yeah, Junior Motorsports on ovals have just been dominant this part of the season, and Josh Berry continuing that. He wins stage 1 at Atlanta.
Stage 1 is complete. That 8 car of Josh Berry is your Stage 1 winner. When you look at the top 10 finishers in Stage 1, you may be surprised to see that 21 of Austin Hill, or you may not be surprised to see that 21 of Austin Hill. The other RCR rookie that I was mentioning earlier, he had a great run here in the spring, finished second. He does have 1 win already this season. He won the season opener at Atlanta. Again, just a rookie, already locked himself into the playoffs. I told you a little bit earlier about the 2 cars outlook, the other RCR rookie on this season. Well, given that Austin Hill started the season with a win, their outlook changed quickly, and now he's been able to continue with some strong runs. A 7th place finish here in Stage 1, and hopefully another strong finish here today in Atlanta. That again is the 21 of Austin Hill, 7th in Stage 1.
NASCAR on USA is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. And Ford. Build Ford proud. Crews up on the wall anticipating their drivers. And we heard from Marty just moments ago that the possibility for a strategy call here. Maybe the track position more important than coming to pit road at this first stage break.
We know a lot of guys thought they might be able to run the final stage without pitting, but I think now after we've seen how handling's such a factor, these guys are going to want to come to get them tires.
I would. I need a good driving car.
First to make the decision will be Josh Berry as pit road open and the long line of cars making their way onto pit road and heading right at you, Kim.
And handling is an issue, but it's clean air these drivers want, not necessarily changes to the race car. And that includes Josh Berry right there. He said in dirty air in 3 and 4. Man, that's what I'm battling. It started out loose, then it built tight. 1 and 2, I'm good. So no major changes, just 4 fresh Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel, Dave.
Noah Gregson said stick to the plan, but I need a tighter race car. That meant 2 left side tires, Marty, and then changes.
Same for A.J. Allmendinger in pit stall number 2. Right in front of him in pit stall number 1, Ty Gibbs. Chris Gale said, I feel like we need a complete reset here. So they're going to go 4 tires on this 54 car. He said it was an absolute handful. Also wanted an ice bag. It is warm here this afternoon. So some interesting plays there for some track position, Rick.
Yeah, a lot of 2-tire stops. We see that with Jones, Gregson, Hemrick, Reddick.
Pit stops after stage 1 are complete, getting ready to start stage 2. That 2 car of Sheldon Creed, we saw him have some issues earlier on. He decided to stay out, not pit, and he will be starting up front next to that 19 of Brandon Jones, who won the race off of pit road. Jones, a Georgia boy, he had a stellar run here back in the spring, finished 7th, and does have 1 win already this season. He won at Martinsville, locking himself into the playoffs. Again, starting on the front row here to start stage 2, hoping for a strong run for the rest of the day. today here in Atlanta.
Stage 1 complete here in Atlanta. Pit road was open. Pit road was busy. Execution, though, lacked on a few cars. It starts with the 8 of Josh Berry. Team Leafs. Watch the left rear tire. This does not look like it's supposed to. It wobbles away. I don't know if it wasn't tight or it lugged up behind. They had to back up, tighten the left rear. So track position lost for the driver who said he wanted track position, Josh Berry. Not just the 8, though. The issues continue. 16 of AJ Allmendinger, I think, is too deep in the box. They dropped the jack, time to go. Where's he going? 54 is sitting in front of him. He has to back up. Spots lost by Allmendinger as well. One problem led to another. I mentioned the 54 of Ty Gibbs. When they were slow in the left rear, that's why he wasn't going. Watch this right here, left side up. The front gets exchanged pretty quick. Big issues on the back, though. Car doesn't look like it's high enough. Tire out, tire on. So guys, for a race where handling's an issue, track position's an issue, you don't want this view. This view says there's too many cars in front of you. Ty Gibbs was not hoping for that when they took 4 tires.
Steve, I'm going to add to it. Daniel Hemrick and 39 of Ryan Sieg both speeding on pit road.
And the 54 of Ty Gibbs could have helped the 16 and went a little deeper. He doesn't have to. I mean, he doesn't have, he doesn't know who's around him or who's behind him, but the 16 also did come into the stall pretty deep and did not also position his car for the turnout on exit. So a little bit of work by both those guys can improve that situation.
Yeah, even though the 54 had a slow stop on the left rear, he is the first car on 4 tires. Everybody else in front of him took 2, so he is the first guy. Creed did not pit that time. He pitted on lap 12. So old tires in the 2 car and 4 tires on the 54. Everybody else on 2.
Sheldon Creed in the 2 on the outside, back to the gas first. Brandon Jones on the inside. And Creed's getting some help from Noah Gregson. Shove into turn number 1.
Tyler Reddick on the inside trying to push this 19 car of Jones.
Jeremy Clements behind him. Sam Mayer behind Jeremy.
Tyler's going to go to that outside line and fill that hole. Now Brandon Jones all alone. He looks in the mirror. He says, oh, where's my help?
See that 48 car, that red and white 48 car, that's Tyler Reddick. Won last week's Cup race, his first Cup win. Trying to get some experience on this racetrack.
2 and 3 wide, still fighting for position here at Atlanta. Another little shove there from Noah Gregson gets Sheldon Creed out to a car length lead.
Big moment back here in the back here. Looks like AJ Allmendinger getting up the racetrack and out of control. Now for the lead, Tyler Reddick, a huge run. AJ still falling back here in the bottom of the screen. He's got a loose wheel or some kind of issue on that car. Look like a handful coming out of turn 4, wiggling it back and forth.
They have a loose wheel, Junior. They're trying to get him down to pit road for AJ Allmendinger again. Led most laps here in the spring, and now a loose wheel on that last stop.
He is out of control, wiggling the car back and forth. He's in the wall.
Brushing the wall, comes down in front of the field. The remainder of the field, as they're trying to work their way beside him, he'll try to get to pit road as Tyler Reddick up front. Has Sheldon Creed and Austin Hill right behind him. Those top 3 trying to separate themselves now.
See if AJ makes it back to pit road without spinning. Looks like he will. And Tyler Reddick's taking that lead. I just believe all eyes are on that 2 car. He's got a lot of laps on his tires. If teams see that he can keep this track position on older tires, that'll force them into a strategy later in the race.
And all these cars right here are RCR affiliated race cars up front working together. They're going to work together to help each other as AJ comes to pit road and tighten up that loose wheel on the right rear. And they have worked together to create a little bit of a buffer from 3rd to 4th position. Brandon Brown back there in 3rd, 4th position. Marty, what you got?
When AJ hit the wall, he said I KO'd it, meaning he felt like he damaged the car pretty significantly, but they just took right side tires that time. I think they're going to come back down pit road and maybe take on left sides this time.
Yeah, I would, if they come back down pit road and put on lefts, I would be really confused. Like, why they just didn't put 4 on it to begin with, unless they really slow down the back straightaway. So See what he does.
You think these three can pull away if they stay nose to tail?
They're actually not able at this moment to shake the draft of the fourth place car. Brandon Brown has been able to try to close the gap just a little bit. You see him in the back of the screen here, right there. But Brandon's driving away from the cars that he was working with. Jones, Justin Allgaier, Mayer, those three cars have not been able to stay with Brandon as he's moved forward, trying to close the gap on the 3 leaders. Marty, what you got?
And Junior, just a quick correction. They actually, A.J. Allmendinger thought it was a tire going down because when they came down pit road, they took on left sides last time. A.J. thought he had a right side tire going down, but they all look up. So I don't know what the deal is. Chris Rice trying to figure out what they do next, Dave.
Marty looking at that red and white car running second, that's Sheldon Creed. It was interesting when I talked to his crew chief, Jeff Stankiewicz, earlier today. Jeff told me we need to win. We're not that great in points. And if we can win, we may have to take some interesting strategy to get there. Well, remember how Creed's day went? He spun out on his own. He said, my bad to the crew. They stayed out this time. They did not come to pit road. So there's your strategy. Now you're running up front with your teammates.
And you talked about the teammates working together and how handling is an issue. Well, look what they're all doing. The 48 is not on the bottom. He's giving clean air to the 2 car. The 2 car, he doesn't run all the way on the bottom. So they're all working with each other to find some clean air on the left front of each other's cars. So you see right there, there's a reason that Reddick's running there. It's not because that's necessarily the fastest way. He's just working with his teammates to try to drive away from the guys behind them.
And they're not really making any headway on that as Brown, Jones, and Allgaier are now working together in a 3-car pack. They are closing the gap on these 3 cars. Hill in 3rd place. We right on board. Bennett Transportation giving us this great camera.
And listen to the throttle all the way through 1 and 2. He's been able to run wide open. Here they are, though. They're with them. They caught him.
Yeah, it sure did. That Brandon Brown's got a fast race car. Been impressed with the speed he's had and how he's been able to run with this front pack here. They have left Sam Mayer back in 7th place, drove away from him.
Brandon Brown got his first win a year ago at Talladega. Kim.
And that gave him a lot of confidence, especially coming into this race. When I met with him early this morning, he said, man, that was such a boost of confidence, knowing I can win and then knowing I can win at this style racing. So he felt really great headed into today. He said the goal is stage points. They checked that off in stage 1. Now they're working in stage 2. Run up front. And he said, most importantly, we need to be patient. He thinks this might be a race of attrition. So the closer to the front he can be and avoid some of those wrecks in the back is where he wants to be, and he currently is running there in that 4th position.
Yeah, Kim putting himself in position to maybe get his 2nd career win. Out front, though, it's Tyler Reddick and Sheldon Creed.
Live from Atlanta Motor Speedway, that 48 of Tyler Reddick currently in the lead. This is Tyler's 5th race this season, driving for Big Machine Racing. We saw him earn the first win for Big Machine Racing earlier this season in Martinsville, and here today he's getting a little bit more track time before he runs in his full-time ride tomorrow in the Cup Series. Tyler's a 2-time champion in the Xfinity Series, but when it comes to a place like Atlanta, this new configuration is new to all of the drivers on the racetrack. So this ability to not only help out a team like Big Machine by putting a driver in the field that can give them great feedback, but he's able to get some extra laps here today on Saturday before he takes on the run here in a longer race tomorrow, Cup Series race. That's Tyler Reddick in that 48 leading the field here right now.
Go inside the headset with access to NASCAR Scanner for only $2.99 a month. You can listen in on pit strategy and spotter communication. Very important here at Atlanta. Log into the app to use on mobile devices. Visit NASCAR.com/scanner. Reddick then Creed, who we're looking at right now, riding along with Austin Hill, 1, 2, 3. Brandon Brown is 4th, about a car length back.
Jones is 5th, and Allgaier was in this little bunch, and they have left him. Allgaier and Jones got side by side, and once they sorted that out, Justin lost the draft. And this little pack is driving away from the rest of the field. They are putting a big distance between them and the rest of the top 10 and the rest of the field.
It's Justin Allgaier was battling up there with Brandon Jones, the yellow car, and he said, I think I just lifted too long when I got away from him. And he says, I believe I lost the draft. Yeah, he did. He's got to try to get it back.
Well, yeah, I lifted too long, but what do? I mean, if you can't just stay in the throttle and wreck the thing, you know, you got to lift to keep the car underneath you, and that's the trouble here. You see behind Sam Mayer, he had gotten moved out of that draft too. They had left him, and now this group has caught him. They put him on the outside, and now he's fighting to get back in line.
And this is what will happen to Allgaier. They'll run him down, and he too will be shipped to the back of this pack if they can make it happen.
The only way Allgaier can catch this front pack is if they were to get side by side, and then they would slow down by running side by side, and then Justin can run them down. But right now, they show no signs of doing that. I think they're content to drive away from the pack, Marty.
Tyler Reddick up front, leading laps here at Atlanta, and he made an interesting observation, Junior, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this. He said when he drags the brake, which sometimes he'll do at a super speedway race to keep that car right behind you, tucked up on your rear bumper, when he drags the brake, he feels a vibration. So my question, I know you would do that at Daytona and Talladega. Do you have to do it here at Atlanta as well to keep that draft in check?
Yeah, some drivers will definitely look at. He's not full throttle. He's a little bit out of the gas to keep those guys behind him, and just kind of controlling his speed off of the nose of that 2 car. Pretty interesting there. But different drivers do it differently, Jeff. Some guys like to drag the brake when you need to come off the gas a little bit or slow the car down from hitting the car in front of you. Some guys will drag the brake. Some guys will just lift off the gas. It's really kind of a preference, and neither one is right or wrong, but I always kind of worried about riding the brake pedal going this fast because I didn't want to destroy the brakes or have a rotor explode or anything like that. But some guys, that's the way they keep their cars, keep the distance between them and the guy in front of them, is using the brake pedal a little bit.
And some engine tuners don't like a driver running partial throttle, especially with a carburetor like these cars had, because it can lean it out and burn a piston. I, for years, was preached to do not run partial throttle. It'll break the engine. I didn't listen to him. I did it anyway. But that is a concern by engine builders.
Hey, this front pack continues to just drop single cars off, and we're seeing Brandon Jones has lost the draft now, so he's not able to keep up with these 4.
Look at this. This is such an amazing camera riding inside the car. Austin Hill got his hand on the headrest down the straightaway, adjusting his belts with his left hand, adjusting his helmet. Gets a minute down the straightaway to do a little driver comfort work, but then he's in the corner, back wheeling it. I could ride right here all day long.
And the reason they're driving away from everybody is, listen, it's wide open. He's not having to lift. He's able to run wide open through the corners, and no one else is. This pack, these RCR affiliated cars, they just have more speed than everybody else.
Brandon Brown tucked to the back of these 3, Reddick, Creed, and Hill.
So Jones has been dropped off the back of the pack, and he will be ran down by this second group of cars, which is led by this guy right here. The 7 of Allgaier's dropped back to them. He's got the 54, Gibbs, pushing him on the outside.
Yeah, he didn't want to leave. You see right there, the change of position. 2 car went to the bottom.
So now Sheldon Creed out in front. Again, that's the 16 of A.J. Allmendinger, but he had to come to pit road. They had a right side issue.
And this is dirty air for everybody right here. So this is, Tyler Reddick's been out front, really comfortable, but now as he catches these lap cars, the balance goes away a little bit for that car because he's now facing some of the dirty air that everyone's been driving in, and that might have cost him an opportunity to get that lead there.
Allmendinger trying to stay out in front so he doesn't go another lap now, but it's Sheldon Creed who is leading the field here as the 48 of Tyler Reddick tries to stay on his back bumper. Sheldon Creed leading in Atlanta.
rookie Sheldon Creed in that number 2 Chevrolet is currently leading the field. We saw him have troubles earlier, brought out the caution in a single car spin, but has bounced back after not pitting during that stage break. I caught up with Sheldon's crew chief, Jeff Stankiewicz. He told me they're in a must-win situation when it comes to the playoffs, but when it comes to preparation for Atlanta, this is how he said that 2-team prepared.
We had the first Atlanta race earlier this year, and we kind of treated it like a speedway race. The major difference for us going back is it's going to be much hotter, and we ran wide open basically there in the spring because it was nice and cold, and they could run wide open in the draft. So I have a feeling if it's going to be about 95 or 100 degrees, they could be lifting, so that changes our whole outlook of how we set the car up. So they're not giving us practice there, so whatever we unload with, we got to be right on with it. So
97 points below the cut line. Definitely a must-win situation if they want to officially lock themselves into the playoffs. But currently leading that field, that 2-team is under a great start here at Atlanta.
Sheldon Creed in the 2, trying to put A.J. Allmendinger 2 laps down. And the 16 has to go to the outside. He side drafts, trying to stay just 1 lap down. But it's Creed trying to put him 2 laps down and really ruin A.J. Allmendinger's day.
This will be difficult to do on the bottom of the racetrack, but that help that he's getting from his teammates, those are affiliated RCR race cars all circling around A.J. It's going to make it difficult for that 16 to try to remain only 1 lap down. He's going to fight back, though. He's in that higher groove. He's also got some help behind him here in the 68, Brandon Brown pushing that 16.
We saw Brandon Brown earlier trying to make a move on the bottom. It didn't work out. Now he's got the top. See if he can move forward.
68 still with you.
Creed blocking up top, trying to make sure Allmendinger doesn't get that run. Marty.
That's exactly what A.J. Allmendinger did not want, as Sheldon Creed still in front of him. He is currently 2 laps down. Checked in with Chris Rice. He thought there was a tire going down, A.J. Allmendinger did, but indeed there was not a tire going down. Both right side tires were fine, and I agree with what Junior said. I'm a little surprised those RCR in-house cars put him down 2 laps. After all, they'll be in the same competition meeting later this week, Jeff. I'm surprised they didn't get the 16 to break there.
Well, listen, think about this. Think about the situation that Creed is in. Think about the situation Brandon Brown is in. Big battle here trying to stay just 1 lap down. Both of those drivers in that outside lane, they need to win.
There's no help out back. Still there with the 2. No help. 21 coming bottom lane to help. Still out there with the 2. 68's with the 2. No help out back now. No help.
Now just 2
Still
laps to go in stage 2.
2 more right here. 2 more.
That's the spotter of the 16 car, giving him critical information about what's
no
happening
holes right
around
here,
him.
No holes.
No holes, so don't jump into the outside groove. There is one right here. What does Brandon Brown do running with 2 to go? Coming to the white, the 21, Austin Hill's going to the bottom.
Hill trying to get by the 68 of Brandon Brown. Sheldon Creed coming up.
Oh, the contact. This is going to give that 21 a little bit of a run here. He's going to the outside of Sheldon. Sheldon blocks to the bottom, Austin Hill.
Crossover move, Hill to take the lead as they go through 1 and 2. Less than a lap to go in stage 2.
That clearly, and what did it do to A.J. Allmendinger?
Allmendinger trying to get at least 1 lap back before they end the stage. Hill, Creed, now Brandon Brown, 1, 2, 3 as they work through 3 and 4. Big run by Creed, but it's not going to be enough. Austin Hill will win stage 2.
Nice job.
And that is Austin Hill's first ever Xfinity Series stage win. How about that for the Winston, Georgia native? Austin Hill has been racing this racetrack since he was 9 years old, and now he gets his first stage win here at Atlanta.
First Xfinity Series stage win of his career for the 21 of Austin Hill, and his teammate Sheldon Creed behind him, finishing second in stage 2, finishing third, the 68 of Brandon Brown. Brandon driving for his father's team, Brandon Built Motorsports. He's a one-time winner in the series. He earned his first win at Talladega last season. Brandon's best finish so far this year is 8th at Richmond, but when it comes to Atlanta, he has an 18th place finish here in the spring. The Virginia native earning some stage points here in stage 2. Keep an eye on that 68. A strong run here today for that small team.
Jump into the exciting, intense, and uplifting world of first responders, police, firefighters, and dispatchers as they face heart-stopping situations and save the day. The 911 Marathon is next on USA. Hill's sponsor, Bennett Transportation and Logistics, based 15 minutes from here. They got 100 employees here and watching Austin get his first stage win.
You heard Steve Letarte on the pre-race show talk about how some teams thought they could run this last stage all the way out. They might need some help with some cautions, but one thing we know is that it better get full right here. So pit crew's main job right here is to get this fuel cell completely full of fuel. Kim.
Brandon Brown having a great run that stage, third in the stage finale. It is drivable, he said. He just needs time to make his runs better. He said that last adjustment really helped. The call was left side tires only unless they get locked in. So you see Brandon Brown right now, they'll wipe off the grill, take a tear off, down and away. And as we go to Austin Hill, Austin, remember having those radio issues. They said if it's tight, hit the roof. If it's loose, hit the door. He did not hand signal, so they said if you're happy with it, hit the door. So he hit the door. Austin Hill down and away, Dave.
Sheldon Creed got past at the end of the track where he is not the best, so they made an adjustment for 3 and 4, Marty.
Tyler Reddick, you can see, wins the race off pit road. Left side tires only. Said the car is where it needs to be, but I thought we would have more. I couldn't keep up with the 2 and the 21.
A lot of two-tire stops. We talked about you've got to get it full of fuel if you're going to make it all the way to the end of this race. It's been chaotic up to this point. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. watching the race saying, getting excited for tomorrow. Watching the Xfinity race here at Atlanta. Hot and slick. Reminds me of the 2011 Daytona July nationwide race. So all smiles on Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s face. And enjoying this one as we get ready for the start of the final stage. Ricky actually very good here in the spring race. Lost a tire actually from the lead.
Same at the Daytona 500.
And Rutledge Wood from just up the road here in Georgia, giving us a little more of a history lesson on what's going on here at the track.
That's right, Rick, and I got a great view from up here on top of the condos, not only of the big track, but also the Legends track on the front stretch where we know legends are actually made. Take a look at some of the big names that have come through. David Reagan, even William Byron, to name a few. And you know they're not the only ones. Bubba, Blaney, a ton of others. We're actually up here on the condo thanks to Doug and Kelly Coffey. Their son Alex used to race in Bandoleros with Austin Hill and Mason Massey, who are both in the race today. You really do get that feel for what Bruton was going for with these condos to make it a live and play space. Forget live work. This is all about having a good time up here, guys.
Live and play. That's a great place for you then, Rutledge.
So a little update right here. We saw A.J. Allmendinger go 2 laps down. He decided not to pit, stay out, take the wave around, so that puts him only 1 lap down now.
Speeding for Tyler Reddick. He had come to pit road. They changed just left side tires. Well, because of the penalty, they came back to pit road and changed right side tires. Listen into the radio.
My bad, man. I ran flashing 2, you know, down the rundown, and we were good, and I don't know what happened there. I never even flashed a second red there that time down pit road. So I'm sorry. I wasn't really even being aggressive.
We're talking about flashing reds. Drivers have lights on the tachometer, and they know if they're showing 1 red light or 2 red light, that should tell the speed that they're going. And Tyler Reddick said he just didn't get it right, Marty.
Hey, Jeff, when Steve was mentioning teams making this entire stage 3 to the very end, 78 to go right here, one of the teams he was talking about, the Toyotas, Ty Gibbs and Chris Gale, think they can make it all the way from here. In fact, Chris Gale just told Ty Gibbs a moment ago, we have enough fuel to make it to the end. That's it. But the caution that's going to come here in a little bit will get us the green-white checkered.
Premonition. I think there's going to be a caution. Well, we will see. Austin Hill and Ty Gibbs making up row 1. Hill on that outside line in the 21. Ty Gibbs in the 54 on the inside. A little more help on that inside line.
Guys get put 3 wide back there on the restart. We're going to see these restarts get more intense in this final stage. We had 10 cautions in this race in March, 7 in the final stage. So everything ramps up once the money's on the line.
That was Riley Herbst in the 98 that gave Ty Gibbs a really good shove. Got him in front of Austin Hill.
Yeah, as soon as Ty got that push, he saw that run coming on the outside. He immediately jumped in the outside. See Riley Herbst doing the same thing. He saw a hole.
He jumps in that hole, but Sam Mayer goes to the inside trying to get around him with the momentum. And look right there in front of these guys. Jeffrey Earnhardt riding in 4th place in that 26 car, having a great run. Been around the top 10, top 15 all day.
Somebody back there against the wall. Saw dust flying.
Oh, the 19 car sideways in front of the field. Down on the apron across the racetrack. No contact. He saves the car. The caution does come out. Incredible save by the 19 car Jones. Solid effort that no one was collected up. Oh my gosh. Watch him right here, Jeff. He gets really loose up the racetrack.
Oh, he's loose in the middle of the corner, and now he's just along for the ride. A little bit of contact there with the 11 car of Daniel Hemrick. NASCAR just knew this was going to be a massive wreck and threw the caution. Look at that big wiggle. Look with Hemrick nowhere to go.
Every other time that's a big crash. He either other cars pile into him coming across the track, or he overcorrects up the racetrack into the field. It just.
What you got there, bud? Just 2 moves. Got back to kind of how the race started there, it felt like.
And looking at that car, he's got a little bit of damage maybe to the front splitter, so that's going to bother it a little bit. Looks like the front splitter's twisted up just slightly on the left side.
Guys, one driver, just to update, remember you guys mentioned the 16 of A.J. Allmendinger took the wave around. What does that mean? That means he had nowhere near enough fuel to make it to the end of the race. He was hoping for a yellow. Well, this is the yellow. This puts Allmendinger 1 lap down. Why does that matter? Free passes are possible. There's a lot more paths to the lead lap from 1 lap down than 2.
So you're saying he's got a chance. That's what Allmendinger's hoping right now is Gibbs out front.
Laps complete here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Currently running 4th, the 26 of Jeffrey Earnhardt. He had a top 10 finish in stage 2, and he had a great run here in the spring, finishing 13th. This is just his 9th start of the season, but he does have a runner-up finish at Talladega and a strong run here as we're in the middle of stage 3. Keep an eye on that 26 of Jeffrey Earnhardt as we get going green here once again, currently running 4th.
Over 200 hours of content from NASCAR still on USA. There's 10 of the next 12 Cup races here on USA. And again, pre and post race shows on USA for both the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series. 11 of the next 12 Xfinity Series races right here on USA. And let's go to Peacock Pit Box and Steve Letarte.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. Down here on the Peacock Pit Box with my man KP. Brad, first of all, let's talk track. I wasn't here in the spring. Great location.
Oh,
middle of the corner, a little shocking corner exit. They look like they're going 200 miles an hour. It's so narrow. It's taking my breath away early.
No, this is an outstanding place to watch the race. But as we've watched, you know, I think for me the big thing that stuck out those first 2 stages is just the mistakes.
Yeah.
So many mistakes that have taken guys and putting them in the back of the field, and they're having a difficult time racing back to the front. So what will the mistakes be made as we go these next 75 laps?
Yeah, you may not win this race on pit road, but you can sure lose it on pit road. And we've seen a lot of guys. We've seen 2 tires, we've seen 4 tires, we've seen guys trapped in their pits. We've seen so many different scenarios that have kept that front of the field bunched up. And these restarts, sitting down here on this pit box and watching these guys, and Junior's said it 3 or 4 times. They're 3 wide. They're 4 wide in the middle of the corner here. It's wild.
Yeah, we got this great look off the back of the pace car at this choose rule. One more thing that's unique here at Atlanta. All right, handicap and make a pick. We got Gibbs there on 2 tires. Austin Hill, great. Brown. I mean, some names that are running really well. Austin Hill's really impressive.
Yeah, see, I'm not sure about this fuel mileage situation. Yeah. I'm concerned. I think there's some issues with fuel mileage. I think a lot of the crew chiefs are telling the drivers, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. I think it needs to be worried about.
Yeah, we've seen Brandon Brown and some of these guys that we don't normally see up front, but we know they're Speedway racers. They're up here in the front. And I'm with Brad. You know that we've talked fuel mileage. The only one I know that's good on fuel right now that I believe is A.J. Allmendinger, because he came back down pit road.
Guys, Brad talks nerves like a car owner.
So we talked about they have the option for the choose. Look what happens. Ty Gibbs goes to the top, first, second, third, fourth, fifth place, all chose the top. Even 7th place chose the top. And that allowed Riley Herbst to go all the way to the bottom. So that shows you right there that the driver's mentality is, I want the top right now. Look at all the spots Riley Herbst picked up by picking the bottom.
2 Monster Energy cars, would they work together?
Well, I think that Herbst just saw an opportunity to gain a bunch of positions. You got to take that opportunity every time when it's presented to you.
And also Truex in that 18 car, he moved all the way into 3rd spot.
And so now it's the 54 on the outside with Ty Gibbs, Herbst on the inside in the 98. Green flag back in the air. Both lines getting a shove. The inside line by the 18 of Ryan Truex. And does he climb? No! Up into the wall goes Ty Gibbs.
So the answer is no. The two monster cars won't work together very well. Ty
3 wide,
Gibbs.
right side, smoking here.
Coming 3 wide outside here.
The 98 tried to get up. There was contact
left
made.
front tire rub as well.
Oh, he's got a right front tire down. He's in the
We're up
wall.
at the fence here. Just drag it here. We're going to come down pit lane this time. We're still green.
That's right, they stay green, and now the hard left turn
red.
onto pit road
right
for
side,
Ty Gibbs. A lot of damage to the right side.
You know how frustrated he is.
Ryan Truex out in front in the 18. Has help now from the 21 of Austin Hill.
We're not landing until we got all the tires clearance. So
Patience out the window now.
Well, this is the first time Truex has been in this position all day. We've really not seen him in the front. So now he's got to learn how to lead this pack. What line do I want to be in? How do I want to block? What lane do I want to block? He has zero experience, did not run this race here in the spring. First time he's been in the front. Here's the wreck right here. See the 98 getting pushed by Truex. I think that's what happened there. He got him pushed up the racetrack. That moved Herbst up into Ty Gibbs. I don't think that Riley Herbst did that on purpose. I think he got pushed up there. See that push right there? Up the track he goes.
And as soon as the bumpers lock together, the 54 and the 98, the 98 can't steer off of the nose of Ty Gibbs. So just a bad situation for all those guys. Marty.
Boy, it's amazing how quickly fortunes changed for Ty Gibbs, who at one point had taken over the championship lead in the regular season here. Now with damage, they think there might be right front suspension damage. That's the biggest issue right now for the 54. So I don't know if they're going to be able to continue this race after winning the race here in the spring.
Problems already for Allmendinger, Allgaier, and Gibbs now in this race.
Riley Herbst has settled back in there right around 7th position. He had a little contact there. Don't know if that's going to affect his car, how it handles. Let's listen to the 18 radio.
Like the tires are just kind of, I don't know, they're just kind of squirmy taking off. Once you get a few laps on them, they're fine. But those initial few, I think we probably pick up some rubber. But yeah.
That's Ryan Truex talking about the tires and how comfortable they are. He's sitting right out in front of Austin Hill. Austin's not really making any big moves to try to, I mean, if he gets a big enough run, he'll go by him. But he's pretty content to sit right here, sort these things out. Maybe see if they can break away again like they did in stage 2 with his teammates.
'54 out of the race. So Ty Gibbs, after hitting the wall fairly hard, enough damage to that car, parks it.
Right there in 3rd place, Daniel Hemrick, a little bit of right front damage from an earlier incident with Jones in the 19. That seems to not be bothering the performance in that car. All right, let's listen to what Riley Herbst and his team had to say.
Jimmy, I don't, you said clear, so I turned my wheel hard right. I needed to get the lead, man. You're a little late, but that's all right. Just keep digging. Not much we can do about it now.
A little late or a little early.
I was going to say the spotter didn't see that as clearly as I think we saw it on TV.
Well, there's the information. We didn't know if he got pushed up there or not, but he went to make a move, trying to get that clean air. And
it was interesting because he was like, you got to call it. And the spotter's like, hey, I did. You didn't act quick enough. But yeah, that's where the spotter and the driver have to be lined up. The spotter can get you in trouble. There's only one guy driving that thing. There's only one guy goes infield care center. I promise you that.
Right there.
Hey,
watching
Junior,
that.
real quick, sitting right here, you mentioned the 21 might take the run. You think he's saving some gas right here? You've done this before. If you're going to save gas, you think this is a spot to be?
I don't know if he's saving gas. Don't sound like he's out of the gas much, and I'm watching him work the back of this car. Looks like he's trying to get a run, and he goes to the inside here down the back straightaway.
Thanks, Austin, for answering my question right here. Driving on by the leader.
One of the most impressive things was his ability to run right up behind the 18 car of Truex through 3 and 4 the lap before. We talk about the dirty air and how a lot of these guys aren't comfortable. Their cars don't handle well enough for them to stay close enough in the corner, but that 21, it not only can lead this race, but it can run right in the tracks of any car in front of it. Dave.
Let's give you the Toyota driver update for the afternoon. That is Ryan Truex running in second place right there in the rearview mirror of Austin Hill. Ryan's 6th and final scheduled race of 2022, and with Joe Gibbs Racing. This wasn't even going to be a thing until Auto Owners Insurance said, you know what? We like the younger brother of Martin. We'd like him in the car. We're going to sponsor him for this race. And he's run up in the middle of the pack most of the day. Couldn't get guys to work with him. Finally got that choose to work for him. And you can see just how strong that 18 is.
Yeah, Dave, great point on the choose. That gained him a ton of spots. Keep in mind with this 18 car, really good crew chief Jason Ratcliffe. They have 7 drivers rotating in and out of this car. What a major challenge for Jason, because they all have a different driving style. And how do you build that notebook, having a different driver so many times throughout the year? But Jason's one of the sport's winningest crew chiefs, does a great job. And Truex doing his job today as well.
I'm watching this pack here toward the back. The one car, Sam Mayer, pushing Jeffrey Earnhardt, had him all crossed up on the front straightaway. They're all really, really tight back here. These guys need to be careful. They've got a breakaway.
Barry trying to make that low line work.
Stage 3 is well underway here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Quick update on those junior motorsports cars who have had a pretty strong run here today. Josh Berry, your Stage 1 winner, has rallied back. He is in 2nd place right now. The young Sam Mayer currently running 7th. Not quite as lucky of a day for the other 2 JRM cars of Justin Allgaier and Noah Gregson, but both of them are rallying back currently. Noah in 15th and Justin in 17th, but oh, trouble for the one car just as I am giving him praise for running 7th. That's the one of Sam Mayer into the outside wall. Looks like he got turned. We'll have to wait to see the replay, but significant amount of damage on the nose of that race car.
Sixth caution comes out. You saw it all on nonstop as Sam Mayer goes around backwards and slams into the wall. He is now out of that car as the AMR safety team immediately to him. He'll head to the infield care center to get checked out.
Yeah, it looked like down the back straightaway, Sam squeezed, I believe that's the 26 car, Jeffrey Earnhardt, into the wall off of turn 2, and Jeffrey come off the wall. Here it is. Jeffrey comes off of the wall and makes contact with the right rear quarter panel, and that just sends the one around. So it's a great look here. Yeah, the one just up the racetrack. Jeffrey just trying not to fence his car. Coming back across the racetrack, makes contact, and a little damage to that 26, and Jeffrey had such a great run going. So now there's damage to the left front and the right front of his car they'll have to repair, and this one car is out of the race.
That was a great view. We saw Sam Mayer go up the racetrack. Was that another situation where a spotter maybe cleared him and he tried to take a spot that wasn't really open yet?
It's possible he got information from the spotter to take that position when there wasn't one. It looks like he's making a move to go somewhere where there's a car in his way.
It was an aggressive move to the right, which leads you to believe he thought there was an opening there.
Yeah.
Clearly, there wasn't.
Yeah. And so Sam Mayer out of the car and under caution once again. And now, Steve, we want to bring you in. What kind of strategy will we play here? Will we see guys on pit road?
Track position is like a 4-leaf clover. Everybody's looking for it. So if you have it, I wouldn't give it up. Austin Hill, Barry, Truex, Creed, Hemrick, if you really think you can make it on fuel, there's no way you're turning left and coming down pit road. Now, if you're in the middle of the pack, maybe like a Noah Gragson or someone back there in 14th, all guy or 15th after fixing that tail, and you think fresh tires will give you an advantage in maneuverability later, you may come to pit road, but there is no chance I'm coming. If I think I have enough Sunoco gas and track position, I am sticking with it.
And Allmendinger was in the position to get the free pass, so he will be back on the lead lap. Austin Hill out in front, Sam Mayer out.
Under caution once again here on lap 110 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. One driver we have not heard about today, currently running 20th, that's the 91 of Mason Massey. If you're not familiar with Mason, he's a Georgia native from Douglasville, Georgia, and he ran here in the spring, finished 6th. That was his career best finish. Mason was running as well as 11th today, earlier in stage 2, now currently running 20th, hoping to have a complete day here. Little damage as we finish out this final stage.
Track's getting cleaned up as we get ready for the restart. Let's take a look at the Ruoff Mortgage Keys to Victory.
Yeah, let's see here. The track position is going to be really important all day long, especially late in the race. On these final restarts, you're not going to come from 20th, 15th, 10th place to the front. You're going to need to be in the front 2 rows on those final restarts, and you're going to need pushes on those restarts. You're going to have guys behind you that want to help you, that are willing to help you and shove you out into the lead. Be able to tandem all the way around the racetrack into turn 3 with you.
And can you do that with a teammate? Is a teammate going to help you, or is a teammate going to disappoint you, where you have this high expectation that he's going to do something that's going to help you, but he's trying to help himself?
Friend or foe, we always talk about when they get out on the racetrack, they're driving for themselves and their own teams and not worried about teammates. But we'll see if there is some work from teammates here, as Austin Hill will be the first to decide if he wants to come to pit road. Once they open it up, they did some cleaning on pit road. There was some fluid that was put down, and so it looks as though pit road is still closed as they clean it up. Let's go to Dave.
And just stepping out of the infield care center is Ty Gibbs. How are you? And we're going to kind of give you a look here as to what happened, Ty, but what do you think happened?
Yeah, you know, we had a very fast sponsoring for Giro Supra. I want to say, you know, all glory to God, and thank you to my team for allowing me to be here. You know, thank you to Toyota for all the stuff they do, and what we got going in New Hampshire.
And you just kind of got out of the groove there. The push from the 21 was too much?
You know, we just had a fast car and got, you know, just got a little contact and it put us in the wall. So, you know, it's part of it. We'll just move on and go hammer down.
Nature of the racing here this day, guys.
Is that a different tune we're hearing from Ty Gibbs? He gets put into the wall and he really doesn't even talk about it?
Well, I think that he just didn't have anything good to say about the situation, so he didn't say anything at all. You know, and I think we'd rather him have, you know, be a little more open than he was in that interview, but I think that everything that's been going on with him this year, he's trying to change the narrative a little bit. trying to be a little bit more, I think, mature about things, and try to, maybe he is honestly putting that in the rearview mirror. Maybe he is honestly moving on to the next race, and it's not a big deal.
Well, and he's seen the spotlight that Noah was under this week, and
yeah.
you know, like, you don't want to be in the middle of all that, and yeah, I think that, you know, Ty's like, hey man, and also there's something going on there, the recognition of it is time to move on. Like, if you dwell in the past, it's easy to get stuck into it and you can't move forward. So, you know, there's been a lot of work with Ty. Ty's been working with himself a lot about how to be a better driver. He's been open about that, and some of it is just, hey, it's nothing I could have done. I got put in the wall, move forward, focus on the next race.
A learning experience, and again, we watch Ty Gibbs continue to mature right in front of our eyes. And the field making their way past pit road. This time it looks as though there's a green light down there at the entrance to pit road, and first one to come down looks like Brandon Brown. Kim.
And Brandon Brown had dropped back a little bit. He said the tires felt a little soft, so he wanted to feel it out, but ultimately coming in right now because he's just way too loose. You guys, I have no rear security. You see there on the right front, looks like a little bit slow, but Brandon Brown right there sits on pit road, down and away, 2 tires.
So coming off pit road, Brandon Brown having a good day here at Atlanta. And a great vantage point. We saw just a little while ago Rutledge Wood up on top of the condos, and Rut's still up there. So many different people. You told us about the different names of racers that have had such great success here, but such a historic racetrack on top of that as well, Rutledge.
It really is, Rick. I want to tell you, how about Oliver Gentry? He's not only one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, but he's also a 6-time late model track champion up at Dixie Speedway. Take a look. He, his wife Beth, their daughters Olivia and Jenna, they all race. Some of them in the great race. Olivia likes to throw the late models around too. Jenna has a company called Sweet Victory Apparel that sponsors not only her dad, but a lot of other drivers around the South. But Oliver's another one of those legends. And tomorrow I'm going to give you guys, with my city view, a great look at Dawsonville, Georgia. Home, of course, to Awesome Bill from Dawsonville, Bill Elliott, the champion, his son as well, Chase Elliott. We're going to be at the Georgia Motorsports Hall of Fame as well, the Dawsonville Pool Room. It's going to be a great time. Just there really is such a rich history of racing here in the Georgia, Atlanta area, guys.
And Rutledge has been there before.
I just hope that Rutledge, I hope Rutledge will have a hot dog or a cheeseburger from the pool hall.
And you don't play pool there, right?
Nope.
You just eat. You eat and you cheer on anybody named Elliott. Yeah, anybody named Elliott is going to get cheered on when you're in Dawsonville and at the pool room, the pool hall there. So we're looking forward to that. Rut will be there tomorrow. What a great view that we will be getting from Rut, as this view here out of Jeb Burton's off the helmet cam. You see the sun playing a little bit of a factor now as we get a little bit later in this race, thanks to state water heaters.
Yeah, Junior, you know how here when that sun starts to set, it gets really difficult to see on the front straightaway. But then as you go through 1 and 2, it also gets in your right side window. But here you go. This is the front straightaway. So if you're Jeb Burton and they say, hey, man, go make sure you hit the choose line, where is it? Like with the dirty windshield, the glare coming on that windshield, the glare off of the racetrack, it is very difficult to see.
And you see that visor he's got as a clear visor. You know, a lot of these guys might choose to have a little tinter layer that they pull off to be able to race in a day to night situation, a transition. So he's got a difficult situation right now, that sun right in his face and no tinted visor. But and what you see on this camera, how blinding it is, that's what it looks like in the car. And you can't see anything until you finally go off into the corner and those billboards block the sun.
It's great right there. There's no problem whatsoever. But as he comes off turn 4, that sun is setting. It's just going to get worse and worse on this straight. You talk about the line, the double line rule.
Yeah,
it's very difficult to see it.
It's time for them to choose.
Top.
So Sheldon Creed gains 2 spots. He'll start on the inside. Look at that.
Hope you missed it, Jeb.
Yeah.
And as he goes behind these billboards, the sun goes away, and it's pretty nice. Dave, what you got?
Sam Mayer had a super fast race car today, but you're outside the infield care center here. You okay? And what was going on with Jeffrey there?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm fine. I just made a simple mistake. I thought I was going to be clear there, and I haven't seen a replay, unfortunately, so I really don't know if I was or wasn't. But yeah, I just decided to come up, I guess, because I thought it was clear, and yeah, he was out there, it wasn't even close, and yeah, he just got loose. So unfortunate, but it's part of Speedway racing. I thought it was going to be good, and I wasn't. It was my mistake. I'm starting to feel like last year Sam again, so I'm going to have to calm down and kind of get my act together and get ready for the playoffs, because those are going to come up a lot quicker than we think with these points implications right now.
Glad he's okay. Guys, that is 19-year-old Sam Mayer. Last year, Sam made a lot of mistakes. He referred to that himself. He's made less this year, but there was one more today.
Well, what I do like about that interview is I hear self-awareness. That's important. You know, understanding your mistakes and admitting them and making adjustments going forward.
Sam Mayer in the playoff picture right now is ranked 8th. He's the highest ranked driver without a win right now as far as the playoffs go.
Sheldon Creed was running 4th. He's got the inside now. Teammate on the outside.
Well, we'll see what the 98 will do here as well for a push. Austin Hill on the outside. Sheldon Creed on the inside. Josh Berry helping Hill on that high line. Creed holding tough.
Not really organized on the inside, so this outside should go fairly well and move forward. Now the 18 getting a little uncomfortable there. I thought he was going to make a move for second place on Josh Berry, but really loose there.
Yeah, Daniel Hemrick trying to push him really hard. 3 wide in the back with a lot of side-by-side contact.
Yeah, Brandon Jones in the middle of that. We saw Brandon Jones sideways earlier in this race. Now he's got Allgaier on the outside. Anthony Alfredo in the 23 just behind Allgaier.
This is an important moment for Austin Hill. They know they have a great race car, perfect package at RCR to be able to control this race. He's going to have to be a little aggressive on his defense of that lead. And as the tires get a little warmer and hotter, and the cars start moving around a little bit more, it gets a little easier to hold that position.
So look at that 2 car and that 98 car. Remember, that was he was inside line, and then the 98 car was right behind him. Look how far they've dropped back. Continue to see that outside line prevail. As long as there's no contact or a problem, that outside is the best.
Yeah, 7th, 8th, 9th now. Creed, Gregson, and Herbst. Tyler Reddick just in front of him. Good. Tyler with an issue on pit road, a speeding penalty, able to battle his way back up. Tyler Reddick's inside the top 6.
And with 46 laps to go, everybody I think around the top 4, top 5, they're pretty content to not do anything too crazy to send themselves at the back of this pack. So they're going to probably stay in line, work together, but it's everybody from 5th on back that they need to work a little bit harder to get a little bit better track position as we close in on the finish of the race.
We saw Brandon Jones earlier spin all by himself, tries to make a move underneath Anthony Alfredo, tries to pop back in line, and look at the car just moving all over the place. Brandon Jones has his hands full today. The back of that car is just not planted in the racetrack.
Car in the wall off turn 2. Brandon Brown, you see the right side damage.
He had just come to pit road.
He had an awesome run going today.
Tire down. Coming to you guys. Stay low here. We're going to have to pick up on the right side. When he gets here, he's coming to you quick. He's middle of 3 and 4.
Still on the green.
Yeah, no cautions come out as Brandon Brown is making his way onto pit road. Here's why. Up into the wall there.
He pitted from 10th place, was running 17th in that moment.
And much like we saw with Brandon Jones, he got in the corner and the car just didn't stick, and around the back when he chased it up and made contact with the wall. Very disappointing finish for Brandon Brown, because he had a fast race car and was doing a good job with it.
Right front tire changer just said shut it off. So very disappointing for the 68 team.
And we've heard from Marty down in the pits that as this race is going, the cars aren't getting more grip. They're not getting more comfortable. They're staying. The track is loosened up somewhat, and that appears to be still the case. Those guys fighting back there in that dirty air anywhere toward the back of this pack. The cars just are not comfortable. You can hear how much Jeb Burton's out of the throttle right there off into turn 3.
So now it's a game, now that it's gotten single file, now it's a game of can I drive my car? See how they're all up the racetrack? Can I get enough momentum to turn to the bottom and then find a hole to jump into? Right now they're all still collapsed together. There's no hole, but that's what the best handling cars, the drivers of those cars are looking to do right now, Marty.
Junior made the point a moment ago. I think that has caught a lot of people off guard today. They thought the track would get a little bit better. That has not been the case. Back in the ball game. That was a quote from A.J. Allmendinger a moment ago. Back on the lead lap, restarted 23rd. He's made his way up to 17th. He's trying to get some Chevy teammates behind him right now, trying to work out getting Myatt Snyder behind him, Jeremy Clements behind him as well. They still think they're in the game. We'll watch the 16 and see if he can get back up there and contend for this win after leading 25 laps early, Rick.
Austin Hill out front won the first race of the season, the Georgia native. Represent your favorite driver. Take advantage of amazing deals at the NASCAR shop. Check out the greatest selection of t-shirts and hats, die-casts, and more. Visit NASCAR.com/shop. Just 35 laps to go in the Alsco uniforms 250 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. And let's go through the field. We'll start with Kim.
Austin Hill running in the point right there. I asked him, why is he so good at these type of racetracks? He said, you know, RCR brings really good cars to these tracks. And on top of that, I'm very comfortable. I have been since I ran trucks with Super Speedway Racing. Great run for him despite some radio issues throughout the race. Running behind him, Josh Berry, quite the rebound. Remember, he had that pit stop, mid-stop on the first stop where he had to reverse because they did not get the left rear wheel tight. He has climbed through the field, currently running in the second position, Dave.
Kim, when you're a part-time driver, every race is a chance to show people what you've got for that blue 18. This is Ryan Truex's resume day to say, I can run up front at Atlanta. We'll see if he can win. Kim?
Daniel Hemrick running in the fourth position. He was another rebounder of the day, had an early speeding penalty during the first stop and was able to make his way through the field. Remember, he wanted to maximize his day was the key and the motto for this weekend. Certainly doing that in the fourth position, along with Ryan Sieg running in the 5th position. Normally, where they are in the playoffs, Ryan told me they would be looking for points, but this is a hometown race. He's from Tucker, Georgia. All of his family is here, and he wants a win for all the friends and family watching him here today. Dave?
Noah Gregson in that silver 9 just has not found the point today. The car just a little off in handling, but now he's in good position. He's in the lead draft, and Noah could strike before the day's over, Marty.
Dave, the question was who got antsy first? The answer, Tyler Reddick. So the first move worked. He picked up Sheldon Creed. They went from 6th to 5th, got up one spot there, then tried to make a move for 4th on Daniel Hemrick. That did not work, Rick. He has since fallen all the way back now. Reddick sitting in the 7th position, still trying to leapfrog his way through as everybody's trying to do that, Rick. Look at that.
Yeah, shuffled out right now is the 39 of Ryan Sieg. As we saw the 9 go by.
Well, this is what Marty's talking about. Tyler Reddick got a big run on Hemrick. He went to the bottom, almost cleared him. Sheldon Creed went with him because those two have been trying to make this move together. But Hemrick was able to stay on his right rear quarter panel, and now that inside lane has lost all the momentum, and the outside lane is coming. And that move, trying to gain positions, lost him about 5. And Junior, that is going to make people afraid to make that move on the inside.
Yeah, when they look at Sheldon Creed and see where he's at in 14th place, almost lost the draft to this whole train right here. He's even further back than this, guys. There's Sheldon. That move right there, when he did get back in line, he's didn't have enough momentum to keep his car in the draft. That is incredible. So if you move out of line, just know you're risking not only going to the back of this pack, but going away from the draft as well. Let's listen to 7 car.
We're just trying to keep a little air on the nose.
You got to make sure if you step out, you can do it. Otherwise, you're going to lose 5 more.
Yep. Already a step ahead of you there.
That's good.
So that's great information. The spotter is seeing when people try to make a move and it doesn't work and they go to the bottom, the outside freight trains them. I want you to keep an eye on that 9 car of Noah Gregson, though. Noah worked himself from the back of the pack to the front of the pack in the spring by passing 1 car at a time. He would catch them when they were spread out. He would drive underneath them and then move up in front of them. The problem he has right now is the cars in front of him, they're all stacked too close together, Junior. Even if he drives underneath them, there's nowhere for him to slide into. So that's what he's looking to do. That's the only way he's going to advance forward, but there's just no way to take advantage of it right now.
Remember, this is foreign. When they're at super speedways or tapered spacered racetracks where the horsepower is down, they normally, at Daytona and Talladega, they can't bump and work together, so they don't get to practice it that much. So it's hard to do just one racetrack out of the year.
And what you're also seeing is Austin Hill comfortably leading this race. Josh Berry's happy to be in 2nd place, not going to make any moves. Truex having a great run, and here in a rare race for him, he's not going to make anything crazy right yet. They're all waiting to the end of this race. So all these guys being comfortable to stay in line, they're controlling the rest of the train and everything everybody does back there. It really limits, I think, anybody's opportunity in the back to make a move.
Half the drivers in the top 10 have won. The other half have not won this year. And so Truex, Hemrick, Landon Castle, Ryan Sieg, Anthony Alfredo, all looking for a win here in 2022. Out front, though, Austin Hill, who started the season in victory lane, leading here in Atlanta. it's been unbelievable today, and we know that the Cup drivers are watching because tomorrow, countdown to green at 2 o'clock, Cup Series racing 3 o'clock, and at 6:30, NASCAR American post-race show, all on USA. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. said earlier, getting excited for tomorrow, watching this Xfinity Series race. Hot, slick. Reminds me of that 2011 Daytona July race.
The lead pack's down to just 8 cars now as the handling plays more of a role deeper into the run here. Those guys are falling off the back of that lead pack, and it's getting smaller and smaller, and the energy goes down in that pack as well. Less people pushing this pack forward, and you can see there's a little space between each of these cars.
You're starting to see a space between that 8 car of Josh Berry and the 18 of Truex. Now Truex has been able to narrow that gap back up, but he's been having a hard time staying with Josh Berry. That's creating a passing opportunity for Daniel Hemrick. If Daniel Hemrick could drive underneath that 18 and clear him, there's a place for him to go. He could get up in front of that 18, Dave.
Does that 18 Toyota look lonely to you guys and all those Chevrolets? Well, that's kind of how Ryan feels about it. Listen.
Man, I don't know how the 8 can run on the 21's bumper like that and have grip.
I think you called it out earlier. I think that's what we got all behind us, too.
Chevrolets work very well in this configuration, and right now Ryan's trying to figure out, well, how can I beat him, Marty?
Sitting there in 5th is Tyler Reddick. I think there's a couple things in his favor right now. Number one, he has 7-lap fresher tires than everybody in this pack. Tires haven't been a huge thing today, but nonetheless, fresher Goodyear tires on the 48 car. But 2, Jeff, he's not fighting for points today. They're after one thing, the trophy. And I can guarantee you Scott Borchetta, his owner, would second that vote. They don't care about points today. All they care about is the win.
And we just see right here the lap traffic these guys are going around, chose to stay in the outside line. And that's making these drivers go to the inside. It will break them up, change some of the energy in the pack as well. And while they get around these 2 cars rather easily, if they catch another gaggle of cars, oh, the 91's been in the wall twice this lap.
Another one of the Georgia natives, Mason Massey of Douglasville, Georgia, just tagged the wall there in the 91. For the 6th in the spring here at this track.
You typically want the lap cars to go to the bottom if you're using the middle or the top of the racetrack, but if they don't give you that option, that could create some energy, a run for a car or 2 in this pack as we get later in this race. 16 to go, coming to 15 to go. They're going to have to start thinking about when they're going to make those moves, Jeff, how they're going to do it. And that it's more intense for the guy like Castle, Gregson, Allgaier. They're not in position to win this race running in 6th and 7th place. They need a few more positions. Look at this 48 on the outside, trying to work that high line. Just almost gets out there on the quarter panel. I've watched Reddick the last few laps. He's the only car that has went to the very, very top of the racetrack in 1 and 2, trying to get to the outside quarter panel of that 11 car. Let's listen to the 11.
For the 48, obviously, I know he's fast. I'm being held up. He'll commit. I'll make the move. He ain't gonna commit, man. You just gotta worry about yourself right here.
Reddick has found something that nobody else knows about yet, and that's that there is grip in that very, very top line, Jeff.
Yeah, Tyler Reddick's going to try to find that grip, but I like the information that came to Daniel Hemrick from his crew chief, Brett Griffith. Worry about yourself. Daniel was talking about, hey, if I do something, I want this guy to do it. Don't trust them. They're all lying to you. They're going to do what's best for them. A reminder from Brett Griffith, take care of yourself. Don't trust anybody.
They're all moving a little bit higher now, starting to protect more and more in that higher groove, not allowing the 48 or anyone to try to drop on that outside, because if they can get on your right side, you're going backwards.
Yeah, look at this. Ryan Sieg's running 10th right now at the front of this pack.
Nobody is comfortable trying that in turn 3 and 4. Nobody's quite comfortable going high enough in 3 and 4 after what they've seen today with some of the sketchy moves, the cars losing grip up there in the top of that racetrack.
But again, you see that gap between 2nd and 3rd. That is the one that keeps popping up, where it just seems like Ryan Truex cannot keep the pace with those 2 Chevrolets in front of him. And Hemrick and Reddick can see that. That is an opportunity if they can ever get there.
And do they have to work together to make that gap? Right now it's Austin Hill who's the Pied Piper here at Atlanta, and what it would be like to win. He won at Daytona, which is the biggest racetrack and probably the most famous racetrack, but when you can win in your backyard, when you can win in your home state.
Back to get a bigger run with the 11 at the 18. If I say 18 half off of the 8 with a big run, just be ready to watch that mirror. 1 and 1 right now.
And
11 1 off of the 18.
The laps are going fast. Coming to 10 to go here.
And that information was to the 8 car, and it was, hey, if you see that big gap get created behind you, and if the 11 ever gets to that 18, they're going to get a major run. You're going to have to block. I'm going to be talking to you to let you know that's coming, but be ready to make a block. And Junior, how many times have we seen the wreck start with an attempted block?
Up front, as we come down to 9 laps remaining as they come out of turn number 4 here. Listen into Allgaier's audio.
Man, that was my play right there. I had to check up. I had the play. I should have taken it, man.
Gonna get it again. Just gotta take it next time.
Yeah, it's just 4 inches. Happened too quick. I wasn't ready, but I know what to look for now.
So he's getting some opportunities, some runs on Landon Castle. When these guys are checking up on this back straightaway, when this 11, this 18 catch the 8, it sort of accordions the whole field. It gives the 7 an opportunity to jump to that outside and surprise Landon Castle, and that's what he's going to try to do. Maybe if the run's big enough, you can go to the bottom, but I think he's trying to jump to that outside.
It's going to be hard to go from where he is, though, all from 8.
He has to be trying to the outside groove. He's got no help behind him to be able to make a pass on the bottom of the racetrack.
In the spring, it was Ty Gibbs who made the last lap pass to get out front and win the race. Austin Hill's hoping that no one makes a last lap pass, and he's able to hang on and get the win here in his home state.
The intensity level's going up. Heart rates are starting to go up. It's an unmatched feeling at a super speedway type race where you're starting to wind those laps down. You know you got to make the right move at the right time. You know it's a chance there's going to be a big wreck because somebody's going to make a move and you got to block. Heart rates are through the roof right now.
I feel like something's going to develop or something like that. We got your back. You know, you can go with it. I think it's still a little early. Still.
Laps are clicking off so quickly. Coming up on 6 laps to go here at Atlanta.
I think you got to try to position your car to where you get into turn 1 and go to the very top of the racetrack and get a run that way. They're all learning that very third groove right here is getting more and more comfortable. They're all pushing the limit up there and getting higher and higher in this corner. Will anybody try it in 3 and 4? No one's went outside the middle groove down here in 3 and 4.
Half and half.
Gap closing now between the 18 and the 11. Hemrick a little bit closer.
Somebody's got to back up.
Exit 3/4 and 1. 5 to go this time. 5.
This is information to Austin Hill
1 and
from
1.
Derek Nealon,
11 is 1
spotter.
on the 18 as well.
Under 5 laps.
Derek Nealon normally spots for that 48 driver, Tyler Reddick, on the Cup Series.
And the 8 car ran pretty high there. He's got a pretty good run right here.
To be ready.
It's not a big enough road. It's not a big enough run to make a move there.
And another great point we just heard, you're right on your fuel number, so be ready if somebody sputters. Marty.
Tyler Reddick just said on the radio, sitting there in 5th in the yellow and red car, the move right now is to not make a move. He says there's not enough energy in this pack for someone to make a pass. If someone makes a move, we'll pounce on it because that would be a mistake.
The other concern, too, is that as this track's cooled off and they're running a little more throttle in this stage than they have been running throughout the first several stages, so their fuel number might not be the same. They may be using more fuel than they used in the first 2 stages. So the strategy or the fuel strategy, the mileage could be a little bit more difficult to complete.
3 laps to go.
Somebody has got to back up to the car behind them, get their rear bumper to the front bumper, and then try to generate a run. Who's going to be the first one to do it? You got to advance. You got to make that move while you're going forward. Here's a move right here from Hemrick. Nope, didn't quite take it.
I think you got to look at the experience of these guys. Austin Hill, we believe, is one of the better restrictor plate super speedway racers. Josh Berry doesn't have a lot of experience at these racetracks. Maybe doesn't know how to put a run together or create a run or present an opportunity for himself to make that happen.
Down the back stretch as they go by Brennan Poole. It's Austin Hill, Josh Berry, Ryan Truex, Daniel Hemrick, Tyler Reddick, the top 5. Out of 4, 1 lap to go. Presented by Credit One Bank.
Flag, 3/4 1.
To the bottom of the racetrack for 3rd place.
Hemrick tries to make the run. Now Barry does the same. He's got to check up. He goes up high.
Down the back straightaway, side by side for 2nd.
It's going to be a huge run to the back on the top.
1.5 here. 8's going to be closest to you on entry. Still
Will there be enough momentum? Austin Hill right on the double white line. Can he win in Georgia? Austin Hill holds him off. He wins.
I need that thing. With no communication, baby, we did it. Yeah, you're on the big screen. Pound that wheel, baby.
19
Good job,
years.
Good job. Hell yeah.
He's been racing here at this racetrack. Quarter mintage, Bandoleros, Legends, late models. And now he wins at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Xfinity Series.
So interesting talking to him a few weeks ago, talking about the transition from the Truck Series where he won so many races and contended for championships. He's like, these cars drive completely different. And he's a big guy. He said one of the hardest things was just the vision out of the car. It's completely different out of the trucks, but he loves that these cars slide around and move around more than the trucks. Really enjoys the feel of that race car like that.
Great job. What a driver. Great job, Errol. Proud of you, boys.
Here, Richard Childers coming on the radio. I think
good week.
I think Austin Hill is a great fit for this organization. Just his style, the way he carries himself. Watch him in the Truck Series now. He handled the ups and downs of his career over the years. I think he's a good fit here at Richard Childers Racing. Really great at the super speedways now. He's typecasting himself. Now he's gonna have to go to Talladega and Daytona and deliver. We're gonna expect this guy to be up front at all those races. RCR, great job out of them as well to put together the package and handling, you know, the trim, downforce, all those things that they needed to control this race, because as soon as they got the lead, you couldn't get around them.
Climbing out of the car, a football player, a basketball player growing up, but also spent so many years here racing. And now celebrating with the hometown crowd. Pulling the helmet off. And an emotional win for Austin Hill. Dave standing by.
And Rick, you could tell it was going to be some sort of a family day when we were at driver introductions, as you were surrounded by family. You just won in Georgia, my friend.
Man, look at this crowd. Thank you all for coming out. I love the fans. What a car, man. RCR has been working their ever-loving tails off to bring some really fast Chevy Camaros. Our Bennett Transportation and Logistics Chevy Camaro was a rocket ship all day. We had an issue right when we rolled off pit road. Team couldn't hear me. Changed helmets thinking that was the case, and still couldn't hear me. So we had to do hand gestures on the side of the car to make adjustments, and Andy and the guys did a heck of a job. I mean, I first stop, I put my hand on the door, told him, which meant that I was loose, and he made an awesome adjustment. Didn't make an adjustment the rest of the race. I knew we had a really good car. We just needed to stay out front and control the runs. The 8 was really fast, the 18, the 48, those guys, but we were able to just keep them close enough to me to where they could never get a big enough run on me on entry or exit, and we just won at Atlanta. That's so special. I've been trying to win here for a long time. Finished second here 3 times in a row, twice in a truck, and then earlier in the spring here. So it's been owing me one, and finally we got one in Georgia, where I grew up and was raised, about an hour down the road in Douglasville. So, oh my God, this is gonna be so special. I can't wait to party. And see my wife and kids, they're here, and all my family members. This is going to be a special one.
And I think some of them probably watched you race on the little track here growing up. How cool is it that you've won on the big track now?
Oh, man, I have thousands of laps around this quarter-mile racetrack here. And for it to all come to fruition and to win on the big track, it's something that I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
Austin, we know that last lap was really something. We want you to watch it here, and we want you to describe what you see on the final lap.
Yeah, so going into turn 1, Derek was doing a really good job. My spotter telling me where the runs were coming. I drug a lot of brake getting into turn 1 because I knew the 8 was really good on entry to center, and I was able to throw that big block off of 2. I got a little scared here because I thought I was getting too far out front, and when I entered turn 3, I was like, I'm not letting off. I'm not letting them get close enough to me. Just ran the bottom, shortest way around, and I saw the 8 coming, but I knew he wasn't going to get there, so. Oh my gosh, it's so unbelievable to win at Atlanta. It really is. I'm just out of words.
Congratulations, Austin, and he is going to celebrate with the hometown fans now. Fans, I believe he said, party with y'all.
Pretty great nights when you can raise the flag, the checkered flag, in your home state. You talked about how you've been working to try to get the win, and it looks like a young fan is going to be able to get the checkered flag from Austin Hill. Yeah, high five. We're going to be with you here until 8 o'clock for NASCAR America post-race show, talking to a lot more of the drivers.
He talked about finishing second here earlier this year, and I feel like he knows he let one slip away that day. He led 27 laps that day, 73 laps today.
That's the most laps he's led in a race. And so things clicking now for the RCR driver. Closest margin of victory here in the Xfinity Series, just over a 1/10 of a second separating Austin Hill and Josh Berry. But the party has started for the 21 team, and the Georgia driver, Austin Hill, wins at Atlanta in the Xfinity Series.